Hello, our dear ones. We are members of the Arcturian Council. We are always honored and delighted to connect. It is always our wish to bring through guidance that we feel will help as many of you as possible. And based on what we are witnessing from the collective energies, we simply wish to give you all or pass along our reassurance as well as our insight and perspective to accompany this reassurance. Humanity is experiencing or co-experiencing many energies at this point, and what we are witnessing from our standpoint is that the experience is truly varied, not only from one individual to the next, but also from one subset of the human collective to another. And the variation exists depending on, of course, where you are located, what the primary focus areas are. But there is another flavor to the variations in what the human collective is experiencing in this moment. And we will say that for many that depends on where they stand with regards to the grand polarization. A polarization, our dear ones, does not only mean a division, but it represents the very vast spectrum of experiences and energies as one's consciousness expands. And to know that most individuals will ebb and flow from one end of the spectrum to the other, sometimes experiencing both ends of the spectrum within one day, in other moments within 1 month, and in some instances within the year. There are sometimes 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But we wish to reassure you that this is a normal part of the evolutionary process, that sometimes it is important to revisit the framework of one's old paradigm, one's perhaps denser consciousness, even if albeit momentarily, in order to regain perspective and to reframe their consciousness back toward the higher end of the polarization spectrum. The higher end being, of course, an experience that is more in harmony with that of universal love, peace, compassion, and unity consciousness. Though it is the aspiration of most humans to constantly experience and remain in the higher end of the polarization spectrum, we simply wish to reassure you all that fluctuations are normal, and not to belittle yourself, not to judge yourself. If you feel yourself perhaps ebbing back into the other end of the polarization spectrum, that is the part of the spectrum that perhaps anchors more into denser human emotions such as fear, anger, and any kind of volatility. We wish to remind you all that though you are higher consciousness beings, those of you who are hearing this message, you are here to experience being human. And though you are all in your own way and at your own pace, here to grow and expand your consciousness, part of that expansion is about remaining grounded and anchored in the human experience. For all of those emotions, our dear friends, they bring learning. They also represent windows of learning, new perspective, and opportunities for growth through consciousness expansion. They come hand in hand. And the emotions, whether you deem them to be positive or negative, whatever side of the spectrum they occupy, they are all here to serve you. They are simply providing context and flavor to what it is that you need to focus on in order to shift back in to the harmonics of love, peace, and unity consciousness. Now, how you work with your emotions is instrumental, and it is the key to your spiritual success. It is important, our dear friends, to simply be aware of all that you experience without judgment. Learn to observe your emotions Understand why they are emerging, and ask yourselves what you need to learn from them. For those emotions arise as teachers, and like all teachers, they come with a message and a lesson. And until the lesson is learned, the teacher or the emotion will remain. See your emotionality, be it on the upper or lower scale of the polarization spectrum. See them all as valuable guides, as companions, as teachers. And these emotions are here to remind you of the importance of making room, making space for those emotions. Learn to be present with them. Acknowledge them from a place of non-judgment, and learn to dialogue with them. Ask these emotions what they wish for you to learn. What is the message that they wish for you to retain? And as the saying goes in your realm, hold on to the lesson. And the more you do so without attachment as to how that emotion will unfold, how long it will stay, how it will play out, it is the ability to observe and to witness and to be detached from those emotions, not whilst trying to whisk them away, but perhaps learning to be present with them. And with and through that presence, you bring harmony and centeredness to your experience and to your being. It is in that place of centered harmony that you experience, or rather we will say that you accelerate your consciousness growth. That expansion in consciousness, our dear ones, makes it easier for you all to learn how to shift up and back into this place of unity consciousness and love. The key is not about remaining in this place, but the key is to accept, acknowledge, and allow for the fluctuations, for the natural ebbs and flows that will unfold through the course of your human experience. But remembering that the more present you are with your emotions, the more you open yourself up to learning from them, the easier it is for you to rebound back into that place of love and harmony. It is about building spiritual resilience. And so remember, the journey is different and unique for each of you, but you are all slowly but surely moving along the spiritual path towards expanded consciousness. And that is about learning to be present, learning to be centered with full acknowledgement of your emotions, understanding that they are your guides, your companions, and your friends. And with that, our dear friends, we hold you all in the energy of love. We are with you and we are present.